Piece number 11, Fear. Grandfather believed that superstition has no place in the present. The boogeyman is not everywhere. The beauty of being alive is that everything is self-contained. He told me, my fears, my apprehensions, my joys, and my state of euphoria are mine to choose. I can be the person I want to be. To achieve happiness, however, requires personal effort and commitment. As human beings, our most important senses, arguably, are our sense of sight and our sense of hearing. When either of these is stifled, we feel ill at ease, to say the least. Most of us now live in a world filled with light. Light pollution is rather the norm than the exception. Our historical fear of the dark grew in a concomitant relationship to the expansion of light. The fire, the torch, the lighted street lamp, etc., the endlessness of the impenetrable forest or the indigo black of the baffling ocean were unfathomable and foreboding to most people. Hence, our traditional fear of the dark. It then became very easy to add on the ghosts and goblins that we associate with the night, nature's nocturnal sounds only lending credence to their reality. Sadly, we have acted on this fear in far too many instances. One of the more infamous episodes in the modern Western narrative is the misogynistic Salem witch trials between 1692 and 1693. This was a time when the average person was slowly becoming awake to the possibilities available in life. The people in power and the religious leaders felt threatened by this change. The Salem case is thought to be one of mass hysteria. The proceedings were used to, effectively, control the population, especially its female members, through fear. Throughout history, minorities have been controlled in similar ways. Jews, Romani people, blacks, and the Chinese have been vilified and dominated through misinformation and suspicion. The modern world must intelligently learn to explain and integrate a given minority without threatening the majority. This is a political art form that is not fully understood or utilized. The challenge remains, how do you dispel long-accepted racial biases or historical myths? As a child, I was also filled with the fear of the dark, and my mother left the requisite bedroom lamp on. I recall many a night, however, that I stayed safely tucked in my bed, rather than take a chance on being caught by the boogeyman on the way to the bathroom. My parents owned a home that was built during the Second World War. It had a bomb shelter in the back garden. I recollect almost beating my friend, Terry, senseless because, when we were in the structure playing hide-and-seek, he made ghoulish sounds that terrified me. My most telling trip down this strange memory lane was with my very first female friend, Cindy Brown. This was quite an accomplishment because she had become my girl, not yet girlfriend, and I still didn't own a car. I took her home to meet my moderately religious mother and father. I was extremely shy and hoping for that sign of endorsement of our relationship that everyone expects from their parents. My mother took Cindy aside and asked her what she wanted to be in the future. In what seemed like seconds, she softly whispered to me, her eyes enlarged like saucers, that my girlfriend had to leave our home. Immediately. I was totally flummoxed. Why? I inquired, rather sheepishly. She wants to be a witch, my distraught mother replied. This was the era of the Satanic Bible and Anton LaVey. Some kids saw it as power and a break with the conservatism of our society. This was all news to me. Cindy and I had never discussed this concept before. My first relationship ended rather hastily, to put it mildly, my mother assisting in the transition. This misunderstanding now seems quite funny, but 50 years ago it was deathly serious. The author, poet, and transcendentalist Henry David Thoreau has a thought. In human intercourse, the tragedy begins, not when there is misunderstanding about words, but when silence is not understood.